All right, welcome. Welcome to, I don't know, this is the sixth, I guess it's the sixth video in this series. And in the past video, I was talking about planning to just start start working on the game itself. And so I have created the project, so I don't bother to show that to you because we already go through that in the very first episode. Just follow the steps to create it. And the game, I just call it some name. Presumably right now it's called Landos. And but before I actually get into writing code, I decide to take a look at the Lua's language tutorial itself, because since we'll be doing a lot of coding, although from the Solar 2D Getting Start guide, we already picked out some bits and pieces about the Lua language. But in order to really, code efficiently in Lua, it's still a good idea to go through the tutorial of Lua. So I'm expecting to just storm through it very quickly, because a lot of this stuff are just I would assume is basic principles of programming. So we expect that I will go really fast at this. And the objective is at the end of this video, we finish all the basics and or maybe even some of the advanced tutorial. And we might not write a lot of code, but when it's needed, we have the Solar 2D console where we can use to see some result, or if there's something that we can use from the tutorial. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, sorry, I was coughing during the introduction, but that's okay. Hope it didn't scare you. I'm doing fine. It's just winter time. I tend to cough, during winter time, so nothing scary going on. So let's get started. So here is the Lua overview, and is by 1993 is created. It's a long time ago, and it's actually it is based on C, right? It's a lightweight programming language written in C. So and it's extensible and portable, able to connect and use other libraries from other languages. So that's always great. So let's quickly, there's an interpreter. So I guess there's something we can use. I don't know if that's available, that's not available. So, but we'll see. Some use of Lua game programming, yes, because that's what we're doing. And then standalone application, web scripting, and so on. So quickly go over it. Need a text editor. We already have Lua interpreter and compiler. So that's okay. And then where can we get that? So there's a separate IDE. Okay, we don't need that. And since it's IDE, installing on Linux, installing on, hold on, set separate developer for which can be downloaded there. Run the download execute, install Lua. Since the IDE can both do and create, you need to install and then compile and install. In case you are interested in Lua in command line mode, you need to install Guidewin. Since okay, so we need to do that. I'm not sure I have it installed. No, I don't have it installed. well, probably we will skip it. We'll see how far it goes because we have the console, right? So let's go over that. Yeah, you save a Lua Hello World, that's okay. So Lua IDE we can skip. So the first Lua program, this start the interactive tool. So over here, I'm just to get started, right? We already know it works, but let's see it for ourselves. Right. So over here, see if we get the test. So we can easily actually use this as our console. Right? It's not the full interpreter, but you know, it works. We can see the result. We don't need to get the whole thing because when we actually write in the code, we will be mostly, I guess, working in the Solo 2D. Although another thing I want to figure out is how to write test. So that at the end, I might actually need to install Lua full Gyrene to get the command line and do the testing that way. So, but we'll see. So you can do this to get a yes, that's fine, that's fine. And then Lua program containing various tokens. Okay, so nothing special here. We already know individual token. Okay, we can separate it. Well, it's just the alignment. That's okay, nothing special. And two dash comments. So ignore, but they start with that and terminate with that. That's not what I'm seeing over here. Right now, this is just two dash will be fine. So how about when I do that? And then, yes, yeah, so it ends there. If we want to have a inline inline comment, so that's how it works. But most of the time, probably we just stick with that. So that's something that we know. Something that we learned here is the Lua identifier is a name used to identify variables. Does not allow punctuation at $sign and percent. Case sensitive. All right, that's fine. The keywords. So we'll have a few keywords and or. We know and, break, do, else if, and, false, for, function if, in, local, new, not, or. We haven't seen repeat yet. Return. Then have we seen then? Maybe repeat and then true. Repeat then until. While should be straightforward. So this only that for repeat then until and maybe while is something that we have not seen yet. So white space, a line contain only white space property becoming a blank line. That's completely ignored. Right, so that's okay. There must be at least one white space character between local and age, of course. On the other hand, in the foreign statement, no white space is necessary between those. Yeah, that's okay. It's simple, straightforward. So global variable and local variable and table fields. This is a special type of variable that can hold anything except nil, including function. So you can put function in table. Right. So also there's a type. Let's see. A variable definition means to tell interpreter where and how much to create the storage for the variable. A variable doesn't have an optional type and contain a list of one or more variable of that type as follow. Variable list. Here, type is optionally local or type specified, making it global. Oh, the type is actually saying this word is local or something else. So you can have comma separated, that's okay. As in JavaScript typically would not do that. Inline declare, okay, that's fine. We can skip that. And initialize value. This is initialize 5 and 10 for D and F, I guess is. Yeah, so without the local, this declare as global. Declaration of D and F is new. So because we set 10 to D, this is a little bit interesting. It's different than other languages, but can also see how it works, right? It looks at this as a list, and then this 5 to 10 also as a list, and just do the assignment that way. Okay, so that's specific to Lua. So variable declaration in Lua, and then doing that simple, setting that, declaring the variable and setting the values and print. Swapping, you can do it quote unquote in one line. Internally is spread out or whatnot, doesn't really matter. But you can do this to make it a little bit simpler to use. So okay, L value and R values in Lua. There are two kind of expression. Expression that refer to a memory location is called L value expression. And L value may appear as either the left hand or right hand side of an assignment. Okay, what does that mean? The term R value refers to a data value that is stored in some address in memory. And R value is an expression that cannot have a value assigned to it, which means an R value may appear on the right hand side but not on the left hand side. Okay, so let's see what that means. Variables are L values, and so may appear on the left hand side of the assignment. Numerically literal or right R values. So okay. Okay, that's just the kind of the definition. So this is not acceptable. And then it's possible to have multiple L value and R value in a single statement, as we saw already. So very likely it's just the detailed definition of the types of symbols in Lua is separately called this L value and R value. It shouldn't matter much during when we're using it, or when it's actually happens, we'll know. But very likely nothing to be worried over there. So Lua is dynamically typed language, okay? So it doesn't have type, only values have types. So variables does not have type, only values have types, okay? Value can be stored in variables, passed as params, and returned as result. Okay, fine. Though we don't have variable data type, but we have types for the value. Okay. The list of data type of values, that's actually a number. Interesting. Probably something inherent from C, right? Because when you're doing something, well, not really inherited from C per in the meaning of is C is doing this, although it does, but the number, the serial number or this ID is probably could be different, but yeah. So this is null value, boolean number, string, nothing too special. Arbitrary seeded or basically a struct, I guess. Thread represent independent thread of execution and is used to implement coroutines. So that's definitely something interesting we need to look into. And then table. Represent ordinary arrays, symbol, table, set, record, graph, tree, etc., and implement associative array. It can code any values. So yeah, so later on need to figure out what is the user data here. In Lua, there's a function there is a function called type. Okay, type is a function that enables us to know the type of the variable. So kind of like a type of, but it's a function. Okay, that's actually kind of more like PHP get type, right? So doing that, there's a function and so on. Nothing special over there. By default, all variable will point to null until they are assigned. Makes sense. So operator arithmetic plus minus, multiply, divide, mod, exponent. So a square, a is 10 or a is 10, yeah. So and then unary, so negation. Okay, pretty straightforward. So equal, not equal. So not equal is using that tilde, called tilde, title equal. So greater and less than and greater equal, greater equal and less equal. That's simple. And then here is actually using the word and or not. We saw and or in the Solar 2D example. Actually, we also saw not, right? We did. So miscellaneous operator. So this is for string concatenation. We saw that, and then get the length of something. Okay, so operator precedency, unary as expected. So concatenation and multiply, additive, relational, equality, and logical should be something pretty straightforward. So loops, okay. So while loops, for loops, repeat until. So that's where the repeat until is. Nested loops. So there are some links over here. I don't know. Yeah, let's go just take a look at each of them. Let's see. So while, do, and, okay, simple. Well, we don't have to go through it, right? So that's while, and then for, right? For init, min, max, increment, same thing as most other languages. Does it talk about the for in thing? Seems like it does not. Let's keep going. Repeat until, so the do loop. Okay, repeat until, that's it. And then this is talk about nested loop. For this do, and then for that do, and you can nest it. All right, while you can while, repeat you can repeat, and so on. All right, nothing really special over there. Break statement, yeah, just break. Infinite loop, right? And while true, yeah, that is definitely possible. Nothing special either. So decision making, so if statement, if else statement, nested if statement. Okay, nothing. Just take a look at that. We already saw that in the, well, just nesting, right? So okay, the then, so if then, it does use the then, if then, and right, and then over here, if then else, and also if then else if. We saw the else if here. Okay, is there's a space in between. That's it. Or there may be there's no space over here. Let's double check. Yeah, if statements for else, if else, this is very useful, and so on and so on and so on. So I have 0 and 1 else and so on. This is just straightforward stuff. It's just that over here it doesn't have a space and is recognizing it, but the syntax highlighting does not, right? So let's copy this over, right? So let's copy it over here. So here in VS Code, it does recognize that, and you can also do a space. So I think it's the same thing. It support both. It support both. So let's say saving it. Oh, nope, something error. Syntax error. Line 12. Line 12. Oh. Or line 32 and expected. Line 32. Oh. If then, else then, else then, else, and. What am I missing here? Say, how about this? Okay, so it is different. It's actually if else. Right, so if it's doing like this, it's actually doing it like that. It's not combining. So the keyword is if, else if. It's not else, else space if. There's no space over here. So that's a kind of, I would say, mistakes in the documentation. So we know. So decision making. So actually, second. All right, decision making structure. Oh, already here. Oh, so it's actually we at the wrong page. Close this, back here. Next. Right, so we are already, for the basic, we are already halfway through. So defining functions, optional function scope, function name, argument 1, 2, friend. Yeah, so this one definitely need a little bit reading. We'll slow down a little bit over here, because remember when I was looking at the Solo 2D about the order of parameters and the implicit conversion and that kind of things, that's probably something special over here. So we'll pay a little bit more attention here. So a function is group of statement, that's okay. Again, this is argument 1, 2, 3 to n, right? And then you have the function body, return. You can comma separate it and n. So optional function scope, it can be local, right? Yep, as it's mentioned over here. Or ignore the scope selection, which will make it a global function. Okay, makes sense. But it haven't talked about the dot and colon syntax yet. Right, actual name of the function, the function name and the parameter list together constitute function signature. Okay, makes sense. An argument is like a placeholder. When a function is invoked, you pass a value to the argument. This value is referred to as the actual parameter or argument. This value, what's specific about it? Let's see. The parameter list refers to the type, order, and number of the arguments. Okay, parameter list. Okay, that's what it's talking about. And arguments are optional. That its method may contain no argument. That's fine. Function body, that's okay. Return, okay. You can return multiple value. We already know that. And this taking to a max, getting the max between the two numbers. Oh, there's no ternary operator either. So there's only if else, right? Kind of keeping it simple. The script will be a little bit more verbose, but you know, that's okay. If a function is to use arguments, it must declare the variables that accept the values of the arguments. These variables are called the formal parameters of the function. The formal parameters behave like other local variables inside the functions and are created upon entry into, yes, that's okay. When creating a Lua function, you give a definition of what the function has to do. To use a method, you have to call that function to perform the defined task. Okay, I repeat it over here because the word method catch me. Is it an object, method versus function, right? But seems like it have not talked about in detail yet, or maybe it's somehow just use the word method interchangeably with function in this case. When a program calls a function, program control transfer, yes, the called function performs the defined task, and when a return statement is executed, or when the function enrich, it return back, yes, straightforward to call a function. You pass the param along with the method names, and if you return, you can store, yes, all right, just return, get the values, and so on. Assigning and passing function. In Lua, we can assign the function to variables. It's a good thing, and also pass them with param as a callback as first-class citizens. That's a very important point in Lua and in a lot of scripting language, able to treat function as first-class citizens of the language is very, very, very important, right? Unlike Java. So you can assign it to a function, assign that, and then function print my print send, you send it in and make the call, right? Fine. With variable assignment, so dot, and oh, you can do this actually. Interesting. So that's a little bit different than the hold on a second. In the Solo 2D, we don't have that. So let's read through this. It is possible to create functions with variable length. We can get a grip of this by seeing an example, return the average, and it can take variable argument. So this, from the example that we saw, was optional. So let's take a look here. So I don't really need to do really average. I just really need to do this and print all right, and then for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do we got here? It prints number of arguments, 5 arguments, and then how about if I do this? Output doesn't matter. So this return a table, right? So if so, it does seems like it does this automatically. I don't think this makes any difference. So let's see. So it's still let's print out the number of arguments also, right? So it's still print out the same thing, and then let's say argument 2, right? So it does the same thing. However, the argument become new. So I see. So this is useful if you want to rename it, grab it somewhere else. But if not, it will default to the local variable arg. That's how it works. Okay. So that's that. Okay, next, strings. So it's probably it will be in the advanced portion. It didn't talk about that those assignments and selecting the parameters. So let's keep going. So string is a sequence. String initialize preform with single quote, double quote, and oh, you can do this. Interesting. So you can do that. So there's a free way. Okay. What's the difference? Escape sequence are used to string in string to change the normal interpretation of characters. For example, to print double inverted comma. What? Double quote? You mean? Double inverted comma. We use slash double quote in the above example over here like this. Right. So and then another thing we notice is the print can accept variable params. Right. It can accept multiple parameters. So that's a good thing. There's some escape sequence, carry return and form fit backspace a, it's probably something that we don't ever need to worry about anyway. Slash t, this is probably just basic, and then slash open bracket, open square bracket, because we have this format, right? So what's the difference between the three, or it's just for easy of writing? So support string manipulation, support string to manipulate strings. So you can have a dot upper, dot lower, main string, find, or kind of like a replace, find. So optional start and end, okay. And then reverse the string format, doing a specific format. Return an internal numeric value or byte and character representation of the input argument. So it converts the string to char string or char array or byte array essentially. So get the length, or we can use the pound sign, and then this repeat. Yeah. Yep, and concatenate. Okay. So nothing special over here. Replacing substitute tutorial with language or Lua language, and then find the tutorial, and then rewords, and the well, this is just finding and printing. Why does it print 5? That is something I don't understand. So let's take a look. Expect equal. Oh. See? 5 and 12. Interesting. So the find actually get the start and end, right? So this is 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's one base. Oh, see. Yeah, it is one base. Interesting. So the index is actually one base. So how about that? It's null. 0 is null, and then 1 is L. Nope. It was string. Does it work? Shouldn't work. str because it overrides the variable. Yes, belong. In function char. Oh, nope. Yeah, that right. This is like the C style formatting. So let's do a change. Automatically reload, relaunch always. Function welcome screen. Okay, so it doesn't allow me to automatically reload. Again, the function char that argument, but that's exactly what I'm doing. String dot char that. Nope, it still fail. Interesting. So it's not as what. Oh, char is converted a numeric to char to numeric. Okay. So byte Lua print. This get the 108. 108 should be A. Well, 108 should be L. So let's see. Yep. Right. M would be 109, like that, and so on. And second, so okay, so this is the which character. Okay, so let's go back to here. So find yeah, it's really it's just one base. It's a interesting way to do it, and it's something definitely need to be careful about. So this is converting byte to char to byte, other common function, and also note that it's using byte, right? So it's not supporting UTF-8, and that's something to need to know when we're working on the library, working on the game. So other common functions, concatenate string, that's okay, let's get the length. All right, repeating. All right, so okay, so we go through that, and now it's to array. So let's take a break here, and we'll be right back in about 3 to 5 minutes. All right. All right, I'm back. So let's continue going to array. All right, so essentially it's a table. It mentioned about a table. So let's take a look. Order arrangement of object, which may be a one-dimensional array containing collection of rows, or a multi-dimensional array containing multiple rows and columns. Implementing using indexing table with integer. So the idea is very simple to PHP. Because PHP also have just straight array and associative array, and associative array essentially table. So let's take a look. So the syntax is the same. It's just use a curly bracket, and then but the array is 0 base and the string is 1 base. Interesting. Actually, let me go back and take a look. Right, so I want to make sure that it does mention it. So let me quickly go over that. Replace the string. Yeah, it doesn't talk about it. It just as is print out the result is like that. So the third character, yeah, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, the third character. That is the second character, and then the second character from the last. First character from the last. Actually, let's take a look at what this prints out. Well, that's a live demo. So execute. Right, so it's 8, right, 97. Eh? Oh, the first character. Hold on a second. The first character. 97 is A. So what if I put a no. 1. Oh, it's what am I thinking about? It's capital L. Yeah, so that is the same as 1, which is capital L, which is 76. So then over here, -1 is the first character, and then the second, which is U, and the same thing over here. So it is 1 base, but the array is 0 base. No, it is actually 1 base, because the 0 return nil. When we're trying to access an element from index that's not there, it returns nil. In Lua, indexing generally start at 1. The word generally worries me a little bit. But we can see that it's doing that in array and also doing that in string. But it is possible to create objects at index 0 and below 0 as well. Array using negative index is shown below, where we initialize array using a for loop. Okay. And then well, it just do the job. Same thing. So it just kind of like a hash map. Well, because it's a table, it's just use numeric in as indexed. So it kind of doesn't really care. Right. So multi-dimensional array is by doing it like this. Typical syntax, nothing special there. You can put a space over here. Or it's just a single die. Okay, this worth take a look. Because over here, this print out that. But what if I print out this index? Oh. Right, so the index is actually 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, so what happened is it get 1 and the math column is 3, so it's actually put it at 4. Right, so it was doing that. That's what this code is doing. Example of multiplication below using manipulating indexes. Multi-dimensional array can be implemented in 2 ways. Array of array simple dimension by manipulating indexes. So it's actually doing a multiplication underneath it. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Don't know if this would be useful in some case, some optimization or whatnot, but from the initial observation, I probably would stay away from this unless there is a performance reason to do that. As you can see in the above example, data is stored based on indexes. It is possible to place an element in a sparse way. Yes, we already saw that. Of a matrix works. Since it does not store null value in Lua, it's possible to say loss of memory without any special technique in Lua as compared to a special technique used for other programming language. All right. So iterator. So that's what it comes with the pairs, and here there's an I pair. So the generic for iterator provide the key value pair for each element in correction. So a simple example is like this. So in I pair array, so this get the key and value. So what's the difference between this and the pair function? So it will output 1, which is the first index, and then Lua, and then 2 in the tutorial as expected. The question is, what is I pair? Default I pair iterator function provided by Lua. In Lua, we use functions to represent iterators based on the state maintenance. In this iterator function, we have 2 main types: stateless and stateful. Stateless is stateless. And in sample, create our own iteration using simple function print the square of n. So in square 3, 0. Interesting. What is this syntax? So get the max count. Well, okay, this is another thing that worth take a look at. So get a print I, which is 1, 2, 3, and then n, which is the square of it, because this do the calculation, I suspect. So that's the iterator max count, and then the current number. What does it mean? Because what does this 3 and 0 means? Let's see. It doesn't really talk about it. What does it mean? So the square pass in 3, which doing this. What is this syntax? So it's present 3 and then current number is 0. So if the number is less, so 0 less than 3, then it increment 1 and then return the current number and the square, and then that goes to I and n. Right, so it will loop 3 times. So seems like this is the same as this, but let's see. But nope, not true, because this will execute it. So this will kind of like a delayed execution, I guess, or stating some kind of initial value. Yeah, stating some kind of initial value. And the interesting thing is the current number is this one, and then the max count is this one. Interesting. So don't know about this syntax yet, and it doesn't talk about it. Right, the above code can be modified slightly to mimic the way I-pair functions of iterators work. Yeah, this create a iterate. Yeah, it is a lazy evaluation. So this get a 3, but it will lazy evaluate it through during the iteration. So the first time it get the 3 and then pass in a 0, and then yeah, that set the initial value actually. And then the next one, the I will increment to 2, and so on, and it stop at 3. So all right, so that's how it works. The syntax is a bit foreign to me, but that's okay. So the previous example of iteration using function does not retain the state. Each time the function is called, it returns the next element of the connection based on the second variable sent. Return the next element based on the second variable, this one, the current number, sent to the function. To hold the state of the current element, closure are used. Closure retains variable values across function call. To create a new closure, we create 2 functions including the closure itself and the factory. Okay, simple enough. So let's take a look. So create an iterator of array, so that gets the collection, and then create a closure and then returning this. So this get the number, the count and the index, and for each call it increment the index, and then if index is less than count, it do this. If not, it return null. So returning null means it will terminate the loop, the iteration, and if not, it will return the value. But what if the collection connect null? Oh, the collection doesn't contain null. It's not, by that definition, they are not storing it. So that's why this is okay. All right. So tables are the only data structure available in Lua that help us create different types like array and dictionaries. Lua uses associative array, which can be indexed with not only numbers, but also with string, except null. Tables have no fixed size and can grow based on our need. That's okay. Representation use all a uses table in all representations, including representations of packages. When we access a method string.format, it means we are accessing the format function available in the string package. Okay, so tables are objects, and they are neither values or variables. They are not values. Probably when it say that, it means not primitive values. Lua uses a constructor expression to create an empty table. This is to be known that there's no fixed relationship between a variable that holds reference of a table and the table itself. Well, it's just a reference. That's okay. So you can set that. You can set it to null garbage collection. Yes, makes sense. When we have a table with a with a set of elements, and we assign to B both AP with referring to the same memory. Okay. Yes. Pretty simple. So it set those quote properties, and then here reference it in another variable, and then change the variable, and then the original one get changed. Okay. Set to the null, but the other one of course is still available, and then this will be null. All right. So you can concatenate separator or something like that. Okay, don't know. Can concat, can insert max n, return the largest numeric index. Okay, that's no, yeah, that's just what it is. Get the max n, remove a particular value, and sort, and with a comparator. So string concatenation. So get a table and then concat a string. It just combine them together, or we have a separator. So just in the strange PHP cute function name that's called improd, or in JavaScript just join. And then this is joining only that two in two entry. Insert and remove. So we insert that on the fourth one is mango 1, 2, 3, 4. And then insert at second. So index 2 is grapes. And max is 5 because it's kind of push it over. The last element now become mango. Oh. Okay. Table remove fruits. Remove fruits. It remove everything, is that right? This remove everything, doesn't it? Oh, no, it only remove the last one. It removed the last one. Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting. Sorting tables. iPairs. So over here, it only talk about iPairs. In the Solar 2D example, it was using pairs. I wonder what's the difference between the two. So modules. So it seems like this taking longer than expected. Module is a library that allows require specialty of Lua's module. Well, actually, since we already been streaming for an hour for this video, so let's take a break over here and then continue on the next one. So, all right. So thanks for watching, and hopes that is interesting. We go through like 12, actually 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 13 segment of the tutorial. So we have 5 more to go for the basics, and then have 6 more to go in the advanced, and then there's some standard library, math, and so on. So, well, we'll see you in the next one. All right, thanks for watching. Bye bye.